So let's look at how you would go about doing assignment 0, basically. I will give you your repo, but if you go to bitbucket.0 and log in, you will see a list of your repos, and chances are that you will only have mine. And if you come here, it will tell you what to type. Then we open git bash, and we can type stuff. cd documents. You always start on your home folder. mkdir projects to create a folder called projects, cd projects to go there, and then you would do shift insert to paste this thing, and you can actually do cs space and then cs5000, so it clones it into a folder called cs5000. If not, you can always rename the folder or change my instructions when I tell you to go to your projects folder. And you can see that this actually creates the things in your documents. Now you have a project folder. It has a CS5000 with a bunch of files in there, a bunch of folders, one per project. So you would do cd cs5000. The first thing that you're gonna do is /make eclipse.sh, and this will go and create the Eclipse projects on your actual machine and will tie it to your version of Java and things like that. I have the source code, but Eclipse is not very portable. So this is kind of creating the right projects for you. It may take a little while. What can we do in the meantime? Yay! Let's actually open Eclipse while this thing goes through. I copied Eclipse onto my desktop because that makes sense to me. When you open Eclipse, it has a bunch of panes and you can resize them and move them around. This is the package explorer. Once we have projects, our packages will be here, and there is other kind of stuff here, the task list or outlines and other things. You don't need to know all of them, but you may want to play with these things. And let's see if this thing works. Not yet. It isn't done yet. It isn't done yet. Sometime soon, hopefully. Okay, Now we are done. And so now we can come into Eclipse. By the way, the first time you guys actually open Eclipse, it's going to tell you where to put the workspace. And you can specify whatever, and there is a checkbox for saying, don't bug me ever again. If you don't, then it will bug you all the time. And there's no problem as long as you always choose the same one, and later on you can decide where you want different workspaces. That's the folder where Eclipse is going to store all the info about the projects. So now we can come here, go to Documents, Projects, and open that folder, and it detects all of those folders. And so when you do finish, it creates them, and it has all the right stuff for them. We will always have two folders for code, Source Main Java and Source Test Java. I think all of the time we'll have assignment, and then this will change, right? Here we have assignment 0. We'll have different assignments. Assignment 1, assignment 2, and eventually when we double click on this, it opens. And we will have tests, again, assignment, and we will always have grader. We may or may not have detailed tests. When I can think of better tests, the grader is actually how we calculate your grade. And so if you come here, you do cd a0, and you do /gradlew grade, that will actually calculate your grade. In this case, it's telling me that I got 0 points. Normally you will have 100 points. In this case, since it's not a real assignment, I made it for 20, sorry. Let's look at assignment 0. The grader and stuff is just for you to eventually run them, and the outline tells you the methods that you have here. So here we need to replace this line to pass test. Normally I will give you the skeleton. I will not tell you exactly what to do, right? If we run detailed tests, this is the run thing in Eclipse. So if we click it to run it, we will see here on the left hand side, we have the JUnit pane, and it has all the tests, and none of them are passing. They are all errors. They're not passing. So this test add with 5 and 8, so it's going to return 13. Let's cheat and let's do something really dumb. Instead of returning 0, let's return 13, right? That is wrong, but it's going to make me pass one test. Oops, I shouldn't be doing this one. I need to do save. And then in these detailed tests, I'm going to run it again and see what happens. Now, this one passed, but I still have 3 failures, and overall, it is not passing, right? So now let's fix it the right way. The function is called add, takes 2 parameters, int a and int b. To int parameter returns an int. So the obvious thing, and actually what this comment tells me to do, is to return a plus b. Woohoo! Normally, every time, right, we fix something, come back, run it again, and we'll start seeing more of more successful runs here and less failures here. Less failures, more successes. Come back, do the next method. Here it's a minus b to do subtract, a minus b, save, come to detailed tests, run it. Now all the tests pass. Chances are that if we come to grader and run it again, all the tests will pass. Woohoo! You can also run this. It has a main, and you can actually run it and see what main does. So in this case, it will print 20 plus 10 equals 30, and 20 minus 10 equals subtract, so it equals 10. So you can play with this while you're building it to make sure that it does what you want to do. Eventually, you're going to have to run grader tasks. Don't worry right now about how they are written, just how you can run them until they all work. Eventually, we'll see how to write these kinds of things, but not right now. So, once you are done, how do you submit it to me? You come back to git bash, maybe. Okay. And we're going to use git. Git status tells you what has changed. So actually, we have changed a bunch of other folders. You can do, because of the make eclipse, git add dot will add all those files. You can also just add this one if you prefer. This one, sorry. This one, assignment0.java. I normally do git add dot. If you do git status, you will see that now they are stashed. Now, the class path files are not being copied into the repo. Oh no, never mind. We need to get out of here to now be able to add all of them. We can go back to A0, and again, you can also Gradle grade, especially if you're not using Eclipse. This will tell you whether your tests have passed, and it will actually tell you what your grade is, sorta, kinda. I still review the code, and so your grade may vary a little, but for the most part, this tells you a very good idea of what your grade is. So in this case, we got everything. Now, we have our changes. We need to create a branch. So git checkout -b is to create a branch, and you're going to create a branch with the same name as the assignment, in this case A0. After that, if you do git status, it will tell you on branch A0 instead of on branch master, right? And so now you can do git commit -m and give it something that makes sense. A0 implementation. This is a comment that will appear all over, so you want to keep it. The first time you run git, it's going to ask you for this stuff, and so you have to do it. Git config -- global. You may want to cut and paste. Actually, you can select stuff and do shift insert, and this will actually copy it there. But there's something wrong with my remote, so I'm accessing this over the network, and so it's doing weird things on my screen. Hopefully they are not that weird on the video. So I'm gonna put my name, Orlando Karam, and user.email, and give it an email. It's not terribly important. You can leave it alone. Actually, let me not give it an email, just to make it complain. Then the up and down arrow keys let you move between things, so we can redo the git commit. It still wants to put an email. So user.email. Actually, this is not my real email, but just in case, I'm not putting it on a video. Okay, so now git commit should work. You would need to do this config stuff only once, and then once per machine, right? After that, your machine will have it, and you will never need to do it again. And then git push origin A0. With this, you are putting the stuff over there. Notice that this will tell you, and this is how you actually submit the assignment, right? By submitting a pull request. This tells you just go to this place and it will be submitted. So you could just cut and paste this. Let me do Control Insert copies in Git Bash. And then open a new tab in my browser and do Shift Insert. And it actually has everything together. We can also create it manually, so you can put the title. Notice that your commits have the comments that we put. So if you don't, especially if you do complicated stuff with lots of commits, then you're gonna get lost about what you did, right? And this has actually the history of what you did and exactly what happened. So A0 implementation, and then something like this is assignment 0. If you are not done, you may want to put something like I'm having trouble with blah 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 blah, or any kinds of comments you want here, because I'll be able to read them. You may want to choose this. I would say do it, but it's not strictly necessary. And then do create a pull request. I will be able to look at this stuff. Maybe. God, he's not moving. Yay. I will be able to look at the actual changes and to look commit by commit. And then I will be able to actually write comments here, right? I don't know. Use great job. Or I will write, sometimes I'll write great job, sometimes I'll write, oh, would you mind putting spaces in here, or something like that, right? Use better variable names. You may want to use this, you may want to do this, to do that, those kinds of things. And that is how you would submit. Imagine that I tell you, let me delete this one. Imagine that I tell you, add spaces. The operator, I normally don't give a hoot whether you add spaces or not. But imagine that I tell you something meaningful, right? This is assignment 0. So something like this, right? What you would do is go back to Eclipse, fix whatever it was. So I'll add a space, and I'll add a space here. Isn't that cool? Save. If I go back to my Git thing and I do status, you will see that you now have more stuff. Git add dot, oops, not comma, period. Git commit -m, adding spaces cause prof is picky, or something like that. Git push origin A0, and that will be done. Again, you can create a pull request. Let me see. I think the pull request automatically updates, but if not, you can always redo it. I think it updates automatically. If this hasn't been merged when you do it, it updates automatically. Let's see if now it will show. Yeah, now it shows both commits, right? And eventually I will merge. You should not merge it, right? I will eventually come here, and after it's all good, I'll merge it and I'll give you 100 on your assignment. This should make it fairly easy, right? You send a pull request. I will try to address any pull requests within a business day. So I normally will look at it after work. I have a 9 to 5 or something like that job. So I will normally look at it after, make comments, tell you stuff, and run the tests and see whether it works or not. And then if it's perfect, merge it. If not, leave the comments open and assign your grade and all of that stuff. Important thing, what's gonna make this process incredibly simple and easy, right? Start early. If you start as early as possible, then that will mean that there is more chances for you to get feedback. If something goes wrong, you can actually ask questions, either in a pull request or on the discussion groups or all over. So start early, submit often. You don't have to submit a pull request every time. I normally push everything to Bitbucket as I finish working because machines go wrong. Once you do this, you put it onto a server. You still have your local copy, but it's also on a server, so it also serves as a backup. If you have several computers, you can install this stuff in all of them. Git pull will actually, pull everything that is there, and you could do git checkout and change. Git branch will show the branches that you have available. Git checkout master, and actually the checkout master, it tells you, right? Because we just merged that pull request. So now you're behind. If you do git pull, it will bring all the changes from master, and now you're good. Normally, you will always go back to master pull to make sure that you have the latest thing, and then the next time, right, when you're going to start with assignment 1, you would do git checkout -b a1. Now you're there, cd a1. Assignment is 0. cd ... then cd a1. You can do git status. It's actually printing here what's the branch that you're on. And then start here, /gradelw grade. And eventually it will run and tell you what it is. Hopefully it doesn't take this long on your machine. But and you can also do test, and that will run all the tests, both the one on this grader and the ones on the detail test, if any. And you can also do gradelw run. Yeah, allow access is Java. So it tells me there's a bunch of things that weren't right. And it actually tells me stuff like, oh, I expected 30, but I got 0. So it gives you clues as to what's the problem. And you can also do /gradelw run to just run this thing. So you don't really need Eclipse if you don't like it. You could also use another IDE and learn how to deal with IDEs. You could just use a plain normal text editor, edit the Java file, and be done with it, right? So that is it.